So as you know, we're traveling from Imperia. We're going over to Marina de Carrara. We're going to go and have a look at Scheherazade, and then we're going to head home to the UK via the Mont Blanc tunnel, and then skirt around the edge of Switzerland up through France. I've already driven for a few hours to get here to Genoa, and then we're going to go to Marina de Carrara, and then we're going to go up to this place just below the Mont Blanc tunnel, which is another 4 hours. So yeah, long day for me, been up since 6:30. So anyway, let's get back on the road. Oh shit, I just cracked the mirror on the thing. Right, to Marina de Carrara, that's our next stop. It's about an hour and a half to Marina de Carrara from Genoa. It's just down slightly south of La Spezia. That helps. All right, so we're heading out. We're just right by the shipyard, actually, Amico shipyard. Just on the other side of this fence, I don't know whether you can see the fence, but just on the other side of that fence, that's the shipyard. It's not all Amico, but it's
200
Genoa shipyard.
meters, turn right.
So this is the gate right here. I've been through many, many times. Not today. Beautiful day. It's 27 degrees, apparently. All right, so we've just arrived in Marina de Carrara. So I'm gonna go and go down to the beach and start and have a look and see what's happening with Scheherazade. Hi, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Italy. We're in Marina de Carrara. All right, so successful mission, and now we're headed home. Which sounds weird to say when you're, you know,
After
this far south.
300 meters, turn right.
So yeah, the home trip starts now. So like I said earlier, we're heading up to on the Italian side of Mont Blanc this evening, and then we're going to stay in a hotel overnight, and then tomorrow we're going to continue through Mont Blanc into France and then up to Calais, and then I'm going to get the train tomorrow night. So we're doing the whole of France in one day, which I don't normally do, and then I'm going to see how I feel at that point, because I'll have been doing about 8 hours by then, and if I feel good, I'm going to continue to drive home. Otherwise we're going to get a hotel. At this point we've done 2,745 kilometers indicated on my speedo, and that's about 1,700 miles. Now we're going to do another 1,800-ish kilometers, so about another just over 1,000 miles, 1,100 miles. So by the time we get home, it's going to be about almost 3,000 miles we'll have done on this trip, so that's quite crazy. Anyway, we're going to get onto the autostrada. As you can see, the beautiful Carrara Mountains in the background here, looking fabulous.
Go left on the roundabout. Second exit.
Use my toll pass, which has been fantastic. The only time it's not good is when you get the bill. Anyway, we'll catch up a little bit later. Well, good morning. It is super cold right now. It's 12 degrees where I am. When we left Genoa yesterday, it was 27 degrees. Now it's 12 degrees. It's quite a change. I've been staying at a hotel, which is just over here. It's on the mountains towards Mont Blanc. It's on the Italian side of Mont Blanc, as I mentioned in the video last night. And I'm a little bit out of breath because the car parking garage is like 50, it's like 100 meters away from the hotel, and I ran here, and I'm not used to running, so a little bit out of breath. But what a breathtaking view as well. So maybe that took my breath away. I just wanted to point out the change in the temperature from yesterday. So 27 degrees in Genoa. It was 23 degrees when we got to the base of the Mont Blanc as we started to ascend, and now this morning it's 12 degrees. So yeah, I've got long pants on, and I've got my my UK October outfit on now. I've just come to the car to get some stuff so we can make a coffee to get on the road. One of the things I always say when I drive through Mont Blanc is how beautiful it is and what it must be like to live here. Well, it's a lot colder. I mean, it is freezing. I mean, it's that difference in temperature. I know lots of people are in much colder places, and I've been to much colder places, but when you've just come from 27 degrees one day and the next day you're in 12 degrees, it really does wake you up in the morning. So that's one of the things that happens when you live in the mountains, I suppose. I suppose you get used to it. But yeah, never really thought about it until now. Okay, I'm going to give you a very quick tip on how to make coffee when you're on the road. If you want good quality coffee, obviously there are cheaper options for not so good quality coffee, but if you grind your own coffee and you want to make it on the road, this is the best way I've found to do it. So first of all, we've got a milk frother, which is busy frothing milk. And we have a hand grinder from Bialetti. This has been slightly modified, the handle, because it broke, and a colleague put this new thing on it, which has been fantastic ever since. I've got good quality Peruvian coffee that I bring with me. And then I have a mocha pot. Now, if you're thinking, hey, how do you use a mocha pot when you don't have a stove? This is an electric mocha pot. Plug socket there, and it works exactly how a normal mocha pot works, except you plug it in to the wall. So you grind your coffee, put it in here, boil your coffee, put them into these amazing Bialetti thermos cups, fill them with milk, and away you go. And that will keep your coffee hot for 6 hours. It's brilliant. And then we have this little fridge here. It's a cooler, and we've got some milk in here and water and fruit and stuff like that. And we keep the milk in here, and that plugs in the car. And that's the Eastman coffee brewing technique whilst on the road. Now, if you have a better technique, please be sure to let me know in the comments. I've gone through various iterations of this to get the best setup. So yeah, it's all about the end product rather than the convenience. You know, maybe you've got a pod machine that you just put a pod in, but the coffee's not so great, right? So this is great coffee on the road. Well, okay, so we're back in the car on the road, just about to join the Autostrada. Absolutely
Cross the roundabout.
breathtaking
Second exit.
views here. Absolutely breathtaking. 11.5 degrees, my car says. 11 degrees, my car says now. So I used the app to say it was 12 degrees when I shot that other footage a little bit earlier. But yeah, it's pretty brisk, but it's beautiful, yeah. So we're heading now to Mont Blanc, and then on to France. But we're heading up to. Actually, I think we're going to a different tunnel. But anyway, we're heading up. We've been on these winding roads ever since we left the hotel, which I'm a bit surprised about. Because I thought we'd just get back onto the Autostrada. But
meters. Keep right.
But yeah, slow going right now, but very tricky roads up here. All right, so it turns out my sat nav's decided to take me on, not to Mont Blanc, but to San Bernardo tunnel. So I don't think I've been through that one before. We did go through a different tunnel once before on a trip down, I think, to Italy when the Mont Blanc was closed, but I don't remember what it was called. So yeah, we're heading to a different place. That explains why I didn't recognize any of the roads. So anyway, we've reached the entrance to the San Bernardo Tunnel, and we're just waiting to pay so we can go through. It'll be I've not been through here before, so it'll be interesting to see the advantages of having someone in the back. Is they can deal with it, so I don't have to reach across. Apparently it's 31 euros one way. Now the Mont Blanc's 46 euros. I don't think it's as long as Mont Blanc, so I'm going to measure the tunnel. All right, so we're out the other side of the tunnel. I measured it with the car, so we went in on 54 and we came out on 61. So it's 7. We came out on 60 actually. So it's 6 kilometers, whereas the Mont Blanc is 11 kilometers. But now we're driving through this, looks like a road that's being cut out the side of a mountain. Oh shit! Went through a red light. So, always check your sat nav where it's going to take you when you're doing a long trip like this.
Cross the roundabout. Second exit.
Because because we were so close to Mont Blanc, I figured it would take us through Mont Blanc, and I just put in the destination and then set off. I was in a bit of a hurry, but it turns out we're in Switzerland. There's no border controls, you know, so it's not like you have to present your passport or anything like that. It's open borders in Europe. So we're in Switzerland. So that's a surprise. And it's 7.5 degrees right now. So it's
after 400 meters, cross the roundabout. Second exit.
So from when we were in Genoa, it's dropped 20 degrees. It was 27 degrees in Genoa yesterday. So anyway, we're heading right through Switzerland, and then we're going to go through a national forest and cross back over into France, probably in about an hour's time. So yeah, always check your sat nav where it's taking you. All right, so we're making good time. We've been joined by an Aston Martin in front. And it's a UK plate Aston Martin right-hand drive car. Now we're in the middle of France right now. We just we came over the border, I don't know, an hour ago, and we're heading north. And interestingly, we've been on country roads the whole time. Haven't been on a single toll road in France since we crossed over the border. And yeah, it's quite interesting. The route that we've taken, it's not the route. I've never taken this route before. And yeah, it's interesting because it's different, you know. It changes the routine. So the only downside is, I mean, the scenery's been absolutely fantastic. The only downside is when you're on those single lane roads, if there's a slow car in front, it's really tricky to overtake, especially when you're in a right-hand drive car and the traffic in front of you, you know, you can't see around the edge you can't even pull out slightly just to see. So, but luckily I have lots of power, so when I do get a clean sight, I can shoot past a bunch of cars. We've got 5 hours to Calais, and estimated time of arrival is 18:23. Now we by the way, because we accidentally strayed into Switzerland, I say accidentally because the sat nav just took us that way. I didn't check the sat nav. Oh, it's a toll road. It's our first French toll road. Interesting. So this is our first toll road in France since we crossed over from Switzerland. But what I wanted to say is when you go into Switzerland, if you've never been before, that was the first time I've ever been to Switzerland, by the way. But if you, I know from watching other videos, Shmi 150 talks about it. When you go to Switzerland, you have to buy a vignette. It's a little sticker that you stick in your window, and it allows you. It's like a toll to pay for the tolls in Switzerland. And if you don't get one, you can get in trouble. So yeah, so you need to get one of those, and that's to pay for the tolls on the motorways, right? So we crossed over into Switzerland. We didn't have the vignette initially, but we bought one in a petrol station before we went on the motorway. So very important to remember. When we were leaving Switzerland at the checkpoint, they had a checkpoint. They didn't ask for passports or anything, but there was a checkpoint, and they did ask for that. There's that Aston Martin just took off. Look, they did ask for. Well, they didn't ask for anything, but I could see he was checking the windscreen to make sure we had a vignette. So even if you think you've escaped it, when you get to the border and you're leaving, they're probably going to check that you've got one. So top tip. All right, so we're making great time. We are around Rheims, which is about, well, actually we're further north than that now. We've got 2 hours to go. It is 5 o'clock in the evening, 1700 hours. And my ETA is 18:59. Now my train was at 19:30 or 7:30 p.m. So we're going to miss that because it takes about 20-30 minutes to get through, get your ticket, go through immigration and stuff. So we're not going to make that train. So they'll bump us to the next one. But that's okay. So we've got 2 hours to go, 250 kilometers to go. We're on Route Anglaise. That's the road. Yeah, and it's perfect weather for a road trip. It's blue skies, sunny, warm, perfect. We passed Rheims recently, like I said. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link to my Rheims video, which is on my Isisman Tech channel. Yeah, you should check it out. Maybe I'll upload or I'll re-upload it to Patreon. But that's one of my favorite ever videos that I made. So yeah, maybe I'll re-upload it. All right, and that's Bob. I call him Bob. My sat nav telling me to take the exit, and that is the final exit off the auto route to get me to the tunnel. So this time that turn off was actually the wrong turn off. So it's I put in the wrong address. It turns out, and now we're actually approaching the tunnel, the Channel Tunnel facility, whatever you call it, the station. Now my windscreen is absolutely covered in dead flies, so much so that it's getting to the point where I'm struggling to see. So I need to clean it before we go any further. So if we get bumped, because it's now 7 o'clock, so I think I'm going to miss that train. If we get bumped, then we can stop. We'll have time to stop. So we'll see. We'll find out in a second. So we've been delayed. We're at the French border control, and they've got the dog round. So they've pulled us into a separate aisle, or separate, bit, and they're bringing the dog around. They've opened the door and everything. So yeah. And the train is due to leave. What time is it? It's 7:33, and the train's leaving at 7:53. So we've got 20 minutes to get there. We've got to go through English customs yet. So what happens is you go through the French one, then you go through the English one, both on this side, and then when you get on the train, you're all done. So when you get to the other side, they just let you off and you go. And it's the same on the way out. So when you come into France, you go through English customs, English border control, French border control, and when you get to France, you just drive away. But yeah, we're stuck here in this queue. So they're being very thorough, which is fair enough, but it just means that we might miss our train. It's the third time he's been around with that dog. It's they've got like about 5 cars in a row, and they're just bringing the dog around, opening the door, asking him questions, and he's doing the third rotation. He's coming back again. You see he's got a thing on his jacket saying explosives. So the dog's trained to smell explosives. I wonder if I don't know whether you saw that on the camera. I won't know until I see the footage later. Right. So now we've got to go through. Now we've got to go through the English one. So, Jesus, I've got very little fuel. I'm on reserve again. Not many times you fill up with fuel and go to reserve and fill up with fuel and then go to reserve again in one day. But I've done that today. Be on the bottom deck. Think bottom deck. Bottom deck, bottom deck. Sending us up. Oh yes. Oh, right. Now stay between the lines or the curbs. Easier said than done. Hey. All right. So that's it. We're on board. Just waiting to go now. And that's it. Yeah. So now, what we need to do now is we need to change things back over to UK. Now, I'll close my window here. When I was heading down to Italy, in the video, I showed you how I change all the settings on the car, but I didn't fully explain what I was doing. So I will explain it this time. So what you have to do is you go into, oops, turn the key. That. So we go into, yeah, I know I need fuel. Right, you see there it says about the lighting. So we go into settings, and then we say lights. No, we don't. We say units. We want. Where is it? There it is. Units, speedometer. And you can see, so it says 4,034 kilometers. That's what we've done so far. Now I'm going to switch it back to miles. And there we go.
After 10 meters, alternative route, 17 minutes faster, 600 meters shorter.
Shut up. So we've done 59,230 miles total. But on this trip, we've done 2,506 miles so far. Now, the next thing I need to change is I need to change the lights. So, whoops. So we go, where is it? Light and visibility. And then we go to exterior lights, left hand, right hand driving. And we say standard. And now it's changed the lights back to UK. Now, what does that mean? I'm going to explain. If you're driving in the UK, the traffic coming the other way is on your right? So your headlights are pointing down, but they're pointing slightly to the left, so they don't dazzle the other cars coming the other way. Now, if you're in Europe or in the US, it's the opposite. You're driving on the right, so your traffic's coming towards you on the left, so your lights are pointing down and slightly to the right to prevent the dazzling. Now, because of that, when we travel to Europe, our lights are now pointing at oncoming traffic. So when we switch over, it basically moves the headlights slightly over to put them put them the same as a European car. Now, before we had that system, you used to have to physically stick a thing on your headlights to protect the blind spot. To protect that light from shining in people's faces. It was a nightmare. So this is such a great thing to have that you can just switch it like that. My 911 doesn't have it. My Spider obviously does, and this car does, so it's fantastic. And that's it. So the other thing we need to do is change the clock back. I forgot about that. There we go. Back in the UK. They said on the loudspeaker, remember to drive on the left. Easily forgotten, especially if you're from France or another country, you know. Oh, there we go. Out and back into the UK. Ta-da! And the lights come on, clean the windows. 4 hours it says to get home from here. So we just stopped for a quick fill up of fuel. It's cheaper than France though. So 106 pounds, 65 litres. So, all right, I just wanted to get some information on the fuel. We just did some conversions. We paid 106 pounds to put 65 litres in to fill the car. Oh, also £1.61 per litre in the UK is 186 euros, right? But in Italy, they were charging €2.02 per litre. So that's quite a lot more. The equivalent of filling the car up was 122 euros. That was the amount. Whereas when we filled up this morning, it was over 140 euros to fill the car up. I can't remember the exact amounts, but it was considerably more anyway. So yeah, definitely Italy and France, fuel is more expensive than the UK right now. Now, if you're in the US, you're paying, well, depending on where you are, you're probably paying $3.50 to $3.90 for a gallon, a US gallon, which I think is about 3.5 litres. I'm not sure, but it's around about that. So you're paying, yeah, a lot less than what we pay. So next time you fill up and you're going to complain about the price of fuel, if you're in the US, just spare a thought for us in Europe. It's a lot more expensive over here. I think we've put about £250 worth of fuel in the car today. Anyway, we've got 4 hours left to drive. Our ETA is 23:45 and 263 miles to go. We're back in miles now, back in the Imperial. And the cars, we've done 2,516 miles so far on this trip. All right, guys, so we've just got back. I'm pretty tired. We set off about 9 a.m. European time, which is 8 a.m. UK time, and I've been driving all day, and it's now midnight, and we've just got back home. Yeah, so pretty tiring day. We've driven in 4 countries today. We started in Italy, we went to Switzerland, then we went to France, and now we're in the UK. So it's been a pretty long day. So I just have to move the rest of the stuff out of the car, and then I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to sleep for the next 3 days. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been quite a long one, quite a tricky one to put together as well, because there's so many different aspects of it, you know, and stuff. Anyway, but listen, I'm going to go because I'm exhausted. I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and let's talk about it. If you've got any comments to make, just put them below. All right, guys, thanks for watching.